Hi, Sarah Banas here, Learn to Craft. I have something really neat for you today. I've been waiting a long time for a trusted designer to come out with one of these. It is these candy domes that are incredibly popular right now, but take it one step further, and these ones have a mechanical iris. So that is the part that I have been waiting for. I'm really picky about whose designs I'll cut. There's specific designers that I know I'm going to get quality designs from. I prefer to use those designers. This is one of the designers that I love and have loved for a long time. And she came out with this snowman dome with these dome cards with a mechanical iris, and that's what I've been waiting for. You're gonna love these. So these cards, everybody, I mean, they're huge. Everybody loves them right now. But the challenge with them is that most of them are, back tear off. So you tear the back off, and then the kids throw them away. So you put a decent amount of work into them, and then the kids throw them away. And these ones are actually refillable because that back part has a mechanism that will open and close. So that's really nice. And the best part about this is that this specific file, so your mechanism, this is the mechanism, and that is separate from your file, which here's your file. So you can actually take this mechanism and add that on to any candy dome design you already have. And you can just change that back layer into being this mechanical iris. So that's really nice too. So let me just say before we go any further, this is incredibly easy. So let me just say though, before we go any further, if this video is of interest to you or helpful, like the video. That's incredibly helpful for me. But also subscribe to my channel. I have a ton of videos coming out that you're not going to want to miss. When you're subscribed, you'll get notification when the new videos come out. There's specifically some coming out for things like pop-up cards and lots of 3D type paper crafts. And also, we're going to continue on with our series on how to design for yourself. So make sure you are subscribed to get those notifications. And I will link everything that we use here in the video description. So I will link the cardstock that I use. I will link this design. You'll definitely want to grab this design. This is fantastic. Not even just the design itself, but that mechanical eye and that being, something that you can port to your other projects. Definitely grab this design. I'm also going to link in the video description one of our many Facebook groups. I'm going to link Cricut and Silhouette for Beginners. Fantastic group. It's not really all beginners, it's all skill levels. But about 200,000 members, super friendly, super helpful. You'll fit right in. Make sure you join us there. I'll link that in the video description. So all of that being said, let's go ahead and get this made. So let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of this, and let's get rid of this. Now, what I have done here is I have already resized this design so that it fits the candy domes that I have. And I'll link the plastic domes that I use. You can get them all over the place, especially at Christmas time or before Christmas time. But I'm going to link where I get them on Amazon just because it's convenient. I'll link that in the video description. So the ones that I use are 3.14 inches. Now these are going to be pretty big. So the design itself. So just, be prepared for that. These aren't little tiny cards that you hand out. These are decent size. You can put these on a table as almost like a centerpiece even, which is neat. So I'm going to link the cardstock that I use. Like I said, I actually am using two different kinds of cardstock here. For some of the pieces of the mechanism, I'm using Cricut Craft Board, which is it's like a light chipboard almost. I'll link that in the video description, the one that I use. You can use that. If you don't have access to that, you can also substitute what's the word I'm looking for? Like a poster board, the big poster board you can get at the dollar store, or any place. You can substitute that for or even 110-pound paper for that portion. You just want something kind of heavyweight. The rest of it is all 65-pound cardstock, just lightweight cardstock. I use Recollections brand. I'll link that in the video description also. That's if you're looking for a good everyday cardstock for your projects, that's the one to go with. It's fantastic. It's non-fibrous, so it doesn't gum up your mats. It cuts well. It's got great colors. It's solid core, so it doesn't have white in the middle. It's just really great cardstock. So I'll link all of that in the video description also. So I have resized this already to fit those 3.14-inch domes. I'm going to link the dimensions that I used, or excuse me, I'm going to note the dimensions that I used in the video description. So what I'm going to note is I'm going to note that the mechanism, so this is the mechanical eye, and that I'm going to note is a height, excuse me, of 4.63. So 4.63 high, make sure that your lock is locked. And I'm doing this on Cricut Design Space. You can do this on, if you're in Silhouette Studio or if you're using Scan and Cut, it doesn't matter what program you're cutting this in. It's all the exact same thing. I'm just showing you in this because Design Space is the one that I pulled up. But so it's going to be, make sure that your dimensions are locked and go 4.63 high on your dome, on your mechanical eye mechanism, and that will be the right size for the 3.14-inch domes, which, and then this, with this all still grouped together, so you can have 2 snowmen and all of your pieces. So with it all still grouped together, the correct size is 10.65 high. And like I said, I'm going to note that all in the video description. That'll save you. I had to kind of test around to find exactly the right size for the domes that I use. So that'll save you a step. Just then you won't have to test anything. You'll just be able to size them and cut. So, okay. So I think that's about it for this portion of it. Let's go ahead and I'll get these cut, and then we will meet over at my workspace and I'll show you how to assemble it. Incredibly easy. Okay, so here we are at my craft desk, and let me show you the things that we're going to need today, okay? So I have all of my pieces cut out, cardstock, and then this one right here. So these are 65-pound cardstock, and like I said, I'll link that in the description, the one that I use. And then this, see how that's a little bit more sturdy? This is craft board. So I'll link the craft board that I use. If you can't get that, or you want to get it more quickly, you can always just go by poster board. That will also work to supplement, or maybe even, like I said, 110-pound or higher cardstock. So that's that. And then you're going to want to make sure you have a paper towel, a couple of them. You'll want some sheets of paper, just scrap paper to glue on top of so you don't get it on your desk. You'll want a glue gun. This glue gun that I use, if you do not have a cordless glue gun, I highly, highly recommend getting one. It's really a game changer. I was going to spend a fortune on one, and I bought this instead. I found this on Amazon, and I'm so glad I did. Excuse me. Very, very reasonably priced. I think it was like 40 bucks. And it holds a charge for a super long time. You don't have to deal with the cord and tripping over it with the machine or with the glue gun. But also, this is the big thing about it, is that when you put it down, it's got a heavy base. So you're just, using it and popping it down. You don't have to like try to balance it and with a regular glue gun. So highly recommend this. I'll link that in the video description. You'll need glue, regular glue. 2 different types that can be used here. Regular stick glue. Make sure that I'm in the frame. Regular stick glue, or this is another one. This is a quick dry glue. I'll link both of these in the video description, and you can get these regular just at the craft store though. You need your dome, your candy dome. I'll link these in the video description also. These are the 3.14-inch ones. I recently got this. I don't know how well this is going to work. I filled this up with the craft glue. We'll try this. I don't know how well it's going to work. My hope is that because with this, sometimes you get a little bit too much. So this is really good glue and it dries fast, but it is a little bit of pain if you get too much. So that we're going to try this. So that, I don't know if it's going to work or not. But if it does, I'll link it in the video description. So the first thing we want to do is we want to separate out our pieces. Oh, I'm sorry. And you also need a fastener. So the fasteners that I bought, I got these at the dollar store. Actually, I guess I got these at Office Max. I thought I got these at the dollar store. So these are 1.5 inch ones. I should have gotten much smaller ones. And I will be ordering much smaller ones. These are a little bit, like the pieces are long. So it's kind of just a little bit too much. I'm going to kind of clamp that in so that it fits a little bit more flush on the back. So you need one of these, okay? So let's separate out our pieces. That is for the mechanical eye, snowman, 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 mechanical eye. We'll put together the mechanical eye first. Snowman, mechanical eye, and snowman, snowman. Okay. And the glue, really, I mean, it's whatever you're comfortable with. The hot glue is definitely what I recommend for putting the dome on. And then for putting the snowman on the mechanical eye, just because that's a little bit more, it'll hold it a little bit better. But as far as your glue for putting these parts together, it's really just whatever you're most comfortable with. So we have, these are all of our mechanical eye parts. So the order these go in is this. You have 2 pieces that are the same. Okay, so these 2 pieces are the same. And then you have this 3rd piece. These are the main pieces of your mechanical eye. So sandwich it with this in the middle. Okay, and then this on top. Okay, so that's your main, that's the main part of your mechanical eye. Then you take this and put this through here. And then open this up. Now, this little piece, I am pretty sure she built that so that you put that like that. And then when you open it, and that way that kind of takes up some of the friction from opening and closing it and makes it last for longer. Because I have these awkward, super long prongs on here. I'm actually going to use this for something else. I'm going to show you in a second. I'm going to use that to kind of like steady this down so that, so I'm going to open that up so that it's not spinning, so that this is in front of your window. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take this and I'm going to glue that on top so that that holds down these prongs so that it's not swinging around. So that's it for your mechanical. That's the main part of your mechanical eye. Super duper easy. So that'll go on the bottom so your candies can easily be taken in and out. Okay. So now let's go ahead and, let's glue this on here. Let's try out our new little contraption here. And we'll put a little bit of glue on here. Oh yeah, that actually, I mean, I don't know if it actually works pretty well. So surprisingly well. I don't know if that'll continue to work the whole time. And that's actually probably just a little bit too much glue because it's going to squish out the sides just a little bit. But I'm going to push that down. And then this glue dries like super duper fast, like surprisingly fast. Ignore that. That is, I got to unplug that when I make videos. That's my printer and it always comes to life right in the middle of videos. I don't know why it comes to life on its own. So this is the reason why you want to make sure that you have paper towels. You will undoubtedly get glue on your hands. So you'll want to be able to have something to wipe your hands up with. Okay, so let that dry. And then the next part is this. So this is your, you put this on top and it just kind of ties it all together, and then this little tab will connect your front and your back. But what you want to do is you want to make sure when you put this on, the first one that I made, and I didn't realize it until after the fact, this was off a little bit, and then I put this on here, and then when I connected that tab to the back, so that tab goes over to the back, then it was permanently off. So you want to make sure that your mechanical eye is all aligned prior to putting this piece on there, okay? So let me grab paper. Grab a sheet of paper so I have something to protect my mat from the glue. And then I'm actually just going to use my regular old stick glue for this. The only downside to the stick glue is that you end up with some, like, you got to be careful when you're putting it on, especially if you have a lot of, like, intricate cuts, because it'll gump, get, like, blobs of it around the edges. Now it dries, it dries clear, but it still is just kind of messy to work with when it's like that. With this, you don't have to worry about it so much because it's not super intricate, but that is kind of a hassle. So that's the one downside to that kind of glue. Close that so you're not getting it on the back side of this. Okay. Again, make sure this is all lined up correctly. And then this is, you want to make sure that you're putting this on, that you're centering it on this side, because that's the side that has to be exact. And then just right around. Make sure you're smoothing it down nice all the way. You don't want like bubbles in there. And again, I just, with both of these glues, they both, and then you see how I turned it around, and now I'm going to just kind of close that tab, and that's going to connect your front to your back. Okay, so this is essentially all there is to this mechanical eye, and then just this finishing part on the back. Okay, so that's that. So let's put this off to the side for a second. And now what we're going to do is we're going to glue these three parts together. If you wanted to, you could cut this out of a heavier weight cardstock and then not need to do the three. You could just delete a couple of them. There was actually 4 on the initial file, and I just did 3. So you could definitely do that if you wanted to. But you have to be careful because, of course, this being super thin, that actually might not cut well on a heavier weight cardstock. So that may be why this designer did it that way. But that's what I'm talking about when I told you that there's, specific designers that I just work with, and I, prefer their work, and I don't, I'm just picky because of things like that. Like, there is definitely a reason that she did that. It's not just a random... It's not just that she said, hey, let's do 3 and, and have them glue them together when they could actually just be cutting in a heavier weight cardstock. She, I'm sure, tested the file and realized that it wouldn't cut in the heavier weight cardstock, so instead did it this way. So, that's the benefit of finding designers that you trust and that know what they're doing, and, especially with the specific materials that they're designing for. Cardstock designers aren't necessarily well-versed in vinyl, where, vinyl designers might not know cardstock perfectly. And sometimes, obviously, there's crossover where you have designers that are good at both. I can't believe this is really, I'm a little bit disappointed because it's so, there's not like, it's not super, there's not a lot in there, so it's probably going to have to be refilled halfway through, but refilling it wasn't difficult. But that really does give you a level of control that you don't have with the other. And I'm surprised with it being, such a thin nozzle, how well it actually does come through there. It does take a little bit of strength to, not a lot, but a little bit of strength to squish it while you're doing it. And I still might be using just a little bit too much. I'm not 100% sure. We'll see how much of it comes through, squishes through the edge. But then we'll know for the next one how much less we need. Okay, so that's that. So let's see. I'm pretty sure that I did still use just a little bit too much. That's going to end up squishing out a little bit. So on this next one, we'll definitely use a little bit less. And again, you're going to want to, this thin side over here, this is the side that you're going to line up at, the side right here, so that you're sure this is lined up perfectly. So then, and the nice thing about this, this glue is that it gives you just a tiny, tiny bit of work time where it kind of like slides. The paper will like slide so you can line it up perfectly. Yep, so a little bit, just a tiny, tiny little bit is coming out on the edges there, not much. And that'll dry mostly clear. It will have a little bit of like a sheen to it a little bit. So, you don't want to get too much extra. But that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. The one thing, there is a little bit of an area right here on this little part. I don't know if you can see it or not, in this real thin part. They could use just a little tiny bit. So let me go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off a piece of this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of shimmy. I'm going to take and put just a little bit of glue on the edge of that. And not a lot. You don't want to gum it up, especially with this thin of a little. But then I'm just going to kind of get in between there. That might be too thin that it would even matter. Yeah, I'll get just a little bit. There you go. So I got just a tiny, tiny little bit in there just to kind of make sure that that is nice and put together. This is going to be really, really, really pretty. Make sure I don't have... Okay. So that was almost a perfect amount. So we'll try to kind of duplicate that. And the nice thing was that, it got right out to the edges too. So I'm trying to duplicate that. I did purchase some, so this is the Scotch brand Quick Dry. I did purchase some Aleene's, and that is a little less expensive. It's actually a lot less expensive, at least where I got it on Amazon. So I am going to try that on our next project, and I'll let you know if that is as good of quality, and if it has the same dry time and everything as this one. Because who doesn't want to save a little bit of money? But this one is, if that one it doesn't work as well. It's this one. It isn't like it's super expensive. And this one works really good, so. And then I was thinking, if you wanted to, what you could always do that would be fun is you can add with vinyl names onto the bellies where the candy goes, the candy domes. You could add names right on there with vinyl, and that would be super cute too. Okay, so that's that. And then again, try to do this side first, because that's the side that you want. It's most important to have perfectly lined. Then just come right around. Right around. Okay. And then push down. get a little bit extra coming out of the bottom on that. But again, I'm really, this made a significant difference in the amount that I'm getting. I'm getting almost nothing out of the edges here. Now I'm actually going to scoop up a little bit of this that did come out, and I'm going to use that to shimmy underneath on this layer. You know what? I don't even need it there, I guess. Yeah, I don't even need it there. That's a good bond. Okay, so that is that. And that will just take a couple seconds to dry, but I can put it on before it's dry and let it dry in here. So I'm flipping this over. Okay, and this is going to be the, so this is going to be the finished side. Give me just 1 second. So you know what? I did actually end up, So even after I told you not to mess that up, I messed it up anyways. It's fine. But you can see that my mechanical eye, see how it doesn't line up perfectly? See how there's a little bit there that doesn't line up perfectly? And that's fine. You just want to make sure that you get all of this lined up. So that's the mistake I made. I didn't get this part perfectly lined up, the back part perfectly lined up. And I'll go back through and I'll take that tab off and I'll fix that later, but that's okay. So you're going to flip this over, and then you're going to take and go like this. And then that will go just like that on there. Okay, so put our glue on. And this time I'm not going to be perfectly, because this one isn't going to matter as much, because this one we're just gluing it down. So I'll just go around the edges. I'm really, really, really glad that I got this, this little squeeze bottle. It really is making a huge difference in the control I have over where the glue goes. And these weren't expensive. They came in a huge pack. Get a little bit closer up there. Okay. Okie dokie. So I'm going to want to center that. So that is like that. And then press that down. And that'll just be the side that you look at, and the bottom side when you go to turn it. So it just kind of makes it a little bit prettier. So that's it. That is your mechanical eye. Super duper easy. Opens and closes very nicely. Candy will drop in there, and then you close it. And then when the kid wants to get the candy out, turn it, and that'll open it, and then the candy will drop right out. And then, again, mine is off. That won't be off like that when you're more careful and you do exactly what I told you to do, what I didn't do, and line all of that up. So move that off to the side, and now let's get this part assembled. Again, very, very simple. For this part, I will use, so make sure you wipe your tip off so that it doesn't get gummed up and dry on you. These have really nice caps on them so that they won't dry. So that'll still be usable next time you go to use it. Same thing with your supply. Make sure that you do that. Okay, and then I'm going to take this over here. For this part, I'm just going to use the regular stick glue, just because that'll make it go together more quickly and just a little bit easier. So let's put these noses to the side for a minute. And so scarves, tops of hats, hats, scarves. So let's talk about these. So on the first one that I made, I actually made a mistake. And what I did is I didn't line up the top of the hat. So these are going to be opposites, okay? So you're going to have one side going one way and one side going the other way, because one is the front and one is the back, okay? Actually, you know, before we move to this, let's go ahead. I'm going to turn on the glue gun, and then as soon as that is heated up, we'll go ahead and we'll put the dome on our mechanical eye, and we'll get that candy in there so you can see that. So these, one will go one way, one will go the other way. One is the front, one is the back. So what you want to do is you want to take, and again, I made a mistake on the last one, and I didn't do this first. You want to make sure, see how that doesn't line up correctly? The scallops on the hat? You need to make sure that you have the scallops going the correct way on the hat. So that's for that one going that way. And then for this one, again, that is opposite. Flip it over. And that is like that, okay? So those are your two. So now that being said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our brims on our hats. So we'll do that first. Okay, we'll flip that over. Take this. Move these out of the way so that I'm in. Make sure that I'm in screen. Yep, I am. Okay, so quick swipe. Swipe from the inside going towards the outside, not the outside going in, because if you hit this outside rim like that, you're going to grab a bunch of it and you're going to end up with like a extra on there that you don't want. So that'll give you a clean, nice and clean. There we go. Push that down like that. And that'll be for that side. And then we'll take this one. Flip that over. From the outside, inside out, inside out. Smooth that down, and then put these off to the side for a second. Put our scarves on next. I'm gonna actually flip that over so that I don't get any on there. And then we'll put our scarves on next, and then make sure that, again, that those are going the correct way. One will go one direction, one will go the other. So that is wrong. See how that doesn't fit on the edge correctly? So that will go this way, and then the other will go the opposite way. So same thing, go from, make sure I'm in screen, go from the inside and go out. Inside to out. To out. To out. There you go. Okay, so now pop that right on there. I feel like these are going to be an absolutely huge hit at holiday tables. Or even like where you put your, where you put your food out on the sideboard, or, I don't know how you serve your family, but, but to put that like as like a decoration, or that'd be super, super pretty. And then afterwards the kids can break it open and, get to the candy, and they can be excited about that. Okay, so put this off to the side. Let's put this one on. We'll do the noses last, because then we'll have, it'll help us to have the other stuff on first so that we know where everything goes. So that is opposite. And that goes on like that. So again, always from the inside moving outwards. Inside moving outwards. Oops. There we go. Push that down just a little bit. And this also gives you just a couple of seconds of work time to kind of shimmy it together. So then we'll do our hats next. Again, make sure before you put it on that you know which one is for which so that you're getting that perfectly on there. Okay, so this is for this one. And then again, go from the inside out. You have to be a little bit careful on these when you get to that star, because if you do it wrong, you're going to end up with a ton of glue, like kind of like on the outside of the star. It's hard to explain, but when you start doing it, you'll see. You just want to kind of be careful when you get right around the star that you're not like pushing down too hard. See how that's mostly clean? There's a little bit there. And then I get a little bit on that outer rim. So move that off to the side. And I wish I had a darker piece of paper underneath so you could see me lining this up. But, I mean, you understand how to line things up. Just kind of eyeball it and then kind of, you know, push it around until you get it perfect. There you go. That's almost perfect. This is going to be the cutest. So when I get done with this next, when I get the other hat on, then we'll go ahead and fill up the candy dome. I think that's all heated up now. Close that. And then let's make sure that we have this the right way. It should automatically be. Yep, that's all set. Oops, no, it's not. What did we do here? Did I do that wrong? And I did. Okay, so I actually, this is why you have to be really careful. I actually put this on the wrong side, so that, and that's not coming off there now, that's on there now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it on there. You'll be able to see this part a little bit, but that's okay. It's a craft. It's okay for it not to be perfect. But yeah, I did put that on there backwards. 2 things backwards on one project. Oh my goodness. So, no big deal though, it happens. But that's why it's so incredibly important that, you know, you're paying attention and that you're making sure that you're putting things on correctly. But mistakes and all, this is going to be very, very cute. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to put these off to the side just for a second. And I'm going to fill that candy dome so that you can see that part of it. So we'll take our candy dome. This is the back side. This is the side that your dome goes on. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take just a tiny, tiny little bit of glue and I'm going to put it on this. Not a lot, just a tiny, tiny little bit. Okay. There you go. Okay. You don't want a big, like, glop of glue there. Okay. And then you're going to want to kind of center it on there. But you want to make sure that you're not going off into your turner at all. Because if you get glue on that turner, you're going to gum it all up. So let that sit for a second. Okay, just press it down and let that sit for a second. And then once that forms, we'll put, I don't know, probably 4 dots of glue around the edge. But you don't want to pick that up too soon. If you pick that up too soon, you're gonna mess it up. So don't get impatient with it. Let that set and just let the glue set for a second. Okay, so now I'm gonna just pick that edge up just a little tiny bit, and I'm just gonna squirt a little bit of glue underneath that edge. Don't worry about this string. Let it let it do its thing. You can get that off there afterwards, okay? Not a big deal. Just the nature of hot glue, okay? And again, let that set. Don't impatiently, try to move on to the next part. You're gonna mess it up. You don't wanna do that. So let that set for just a second. Doesn't take long. You can continue working on your snowman in between if you want. Save yourself some time. Okay, now the next dot, same thing. Just pick it up, put a tiny little dot underneath there. And that dot was actually a little bit too big, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Don't worry about your string. Pop that off there once it solidifies. Let this one do its thing too. And then we'll get one more dot on there. Maybe get one more over here. But this is plenty to hold that dome on there. Okay, so we'll lift that up just a little tiny bit. I think I do want one more little bit over here. And I'm not exactly centered on here. I'm a little bit off center, but again, not a big deal. And let that glue dry before you try pulling that string, because if you're pulling the string and it's still hot, you're not gonna, it's just gonna pull right with it. So let it actually dry first, okay? So now let this go just for a second. Let that do its thing, and then we'll go back to working on our snowman for a minute. Okay, so now the next part of the snowman is going to be the black part in the middle. Okay, so that is this. Again, make sure that you're lining up your pieces correctly. That was upside down. So what you're going to do is you're going to pick up this part. You're going to pick up this. You're going to put the glue on this, again, moving from the inside out. You're going to do everything on this except for the arms. Don't want to get on the arms. The arms are not, they stay on the outside of the design. You want to get it all the way to the edge. Super, super easy. Okay, and then line up your hat first, and then move down from the hat, down through the body, pushing as you go, and kind of sliding it a little bit so that you're even on there. Taking just a little bit of glue on there, so I'm going to flip that over. Okay, and then flattening, 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 so there's no bubbles. Okay, and now I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to do the same on the back. I'm going to put my glue on there. Moving from the inside, going to the out. Again, not doing the arms, but getting to the edge. And if you do get any on a part that shouldn't be there, like just now I get a little bit on the arm, you want to clean that up fairly quickly before it dries, if you can. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and go like that. And I'm going to put this piece on. starting at the top. Piece of glue on there. Okay, and I'm going to flatten that. Unfortunately, that I did that one side backwards did make a little bit of difference on the black too. But like I said, I'll make that the back of it so you can't really see that. But that's okay. The front of it will be cute. The front of it will be super cute. So then I'm going to take and I'm going to, oops, give me just 1 second. Okay, let me put my snowman noses on, and then we'll pop this on. It's going to be super duper cute. That's actually this side. I think I would say that the cuts on the snowman noses should go upwards. And then this will be this side. Cuts on the snowman noses. There we go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put our candy in our dome and put this on there. And that is going to be super, super cute. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to fold this like that. Okay, and then fold this like that. And then these tabs, fold one out this way, one out this way. And that's where your dome is going to go. Okay, so let's fill our dome up with candy. And it doesn't have to be candy. Another good option for this is, actually 2 other good options. One is to fill it up with those, like food-shaped erasers. But another good one is if you go on Amazon and you type in vending supply, that'll bring up like all of the things that you can, people who own like the quarter machines at the stores, that's that type of thing. So, and that is also super cute for that type of stuff. So then close that, and that is your mechanical eye, super easy. Okay, now to put this on here, what you do is you take this and you open it, and then that sits on there just like that. Super duper cute. And then these little tabs hold it on top. So what I do is I take the tabs and I take a little bit of this glue on these tabs. Okay, and then for the main part, I do hot glue. So for this main part, I'm going to do just enough hot glue to go completely around the edges. Okay, and you got to work fast or you're going to end up with it healing up on you. There you go with that. Tap that down, and then tap down all of your edges. And that's it. And that is all there is to it. Super, super cute, fun craft. Let that heal up. That'll dry solid. So just give it a second to heal. And it is going to be super, super, super cute. Oops. Got a little hot glue on my mat. So I'll let that dry up. That'll pop right off there, no problem. If you don't have one of these mats on your table, highly recommend it. It protects your table. So that's it. And then on the bottom side, so unfortunately I did get a little bit of glue on the bottom there, but that's okay. So then that's how you open the mechanical eye. Super duper easy. You get your little candies out. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Super easy. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to ask them in the comments here, or ask in the group. You're always welcome to ask me in the group. Make sure you like the video. That's super helpful to me. Subscribe to my channel so you get the notifications of the new videos come out. And then join us on Facebook. I'll link that in the video description. I'll link everything we used here in the video description. I'll link the design, the materials, the glue bottles, all of it, the hot glue gun I use. And then, that's it. I hope you have a great day.